What's up, everyone? This is Kronos, aka Adam, back with another AEW Week in Review. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. So we are back going over everything that happened in the world of AEW from BTE, Dark, Dynamite. Obviously, still feeling the effects of the loss of Brodie Lee. I just realized that my phone is still on and not on silent, so I knew that was going to happen. And so as always, I just go through everything as if you didn't even watch it. You can just, sit down for about a half hour and get everything you need to know about what happened this week. So, yep, making sure my mic works. And we're going to jump right in. All right, so we start off with BTE. The episode is called Tribute. Obviously, comes right off the Brodie Lee tribute show that they had, which was absolutely phenomenal. Best tribute show I've ever seen. Just really, did everything, hit every point, did everything right. So we get Matt Jackson. He's talking about leaving for the tribute show. Wrestling is the only way he knows how to honor his friend. Obviously this is what they know, and what they figured would be the best way to honor his memory. So we get a montage of everyone, everything being set up for the show over the Mox promo. We get Brodie Jr. hitting Miro with kendo sticks backstage, which was pretty funny. We get a Cutler cam of Dynamite just throughout the show. Then we get this amazing, heartwarming, just absolutely fire backstage speech from Eddie Kingston, who, when he wants to, he just can just promo on anything or talk about anything. It keeps you riveted, keeps you captivated. And it was just amazing about how, everyone's upset now. The only way that we can honor him is to do this, is to keep him in our memories, keep him in our thoughts, and show that same energy now and forever. And just, it's not easy to watch, because it's just so emotional. But yeah, so then we get the Dark Order in the clubhouse, kind of, they're all down in the dumps, very dejected. And then Hangman walks in and he asks if he can actually sit with them, showing his support for them, obviously, after the loss of Brodie. We finally get to a little more, upbeat, kind of the comedic aspect of BTE that we haven't seen for the past two episodes, which is understandable, obviously. So we get Private Party at the bar. Apparently, Allie is looking for Cutler with scissors. We don't know why. Hardy shows up. He says, look past the loss that they had, but about their win 2 weeks ago. They talk about how he had a guy who took a booking fee, and he wants some compensation for what he's doing. He was talking about Doc Hendricks taking like 60%. So he wants 30%, and they're like, okay. And then he wants, no, each give up 30%. And he says he's a kingmaker. And he says, this. And they're like, I thought we were friends. He's like, this is show business, not friend business. Think about it. So we get Janela and Trent playing chess. Trent gets checkmate in one move. He's like, well, you never beat a grandmaster. And then they have Luchasaurus come in wearing the Anya Taylor-Joy like red wig, a Queen's Gambit reference, which I just recently watched, which I thought was awesome. Trent is literally left with just his king, and Luchasaurus has all of his pieces left. He surrenders. Janela's face during the whole thing was really funny. So we get Dasha, Diamante, and Ortiz. They're mad about Alex tricking them to get away. They're tracking him. He's watching something about a Kool-Aid Man song. He starts talking. He says, no, not Dark Order. He said Law and Order. And then he says, oh, look, it's Ricky Martin. And he uses that as a distraction to get away again. Kip Sabian, he's still mad about Leva Bates letting him win. He wants an assurance from Leva, which she does, but he's still apprehensive about it. We get Vicky is backstage getting her hair and makeup done. She can't get her apron off, and then when she pulls it, it kind of looks like it's like draped over her head. Pillman Jr. walks in, thinks she's a nun. She has an idea for her and Nyla's costume. They do kind of like this slow walk, or it's walk in slow motion. Dressed as nuns. We get a to be continued on where that's going. We then get our BTE championship title match. We get John Silver versus Marco Stunt. It's 4:40 a.m. at this point. Now they have to spin kick to take the bottle top off a bottle. Apparently Silver hits it in the first time and wins, which, they're trying to say that it was rigged. Sammy Guevara is obviously very upset about this, but he checks the bottle and it turns out it was right. And then we get Mikey Ruckus, which I mentioned last week. So he's their music director and created a new music video for his song for Ghost Town. And Hardy was in it, and I guess directed by Reba. And so they have the song, and it's pretty catchy, I guess. I'm not really into the hard metal, but, Hardy being in it was pretty entertaining. So there you have BTE for the week. We then get to AEW Dark. So we start off with Nick Camarado versus Jungle Boy. Tony Khan had said that he bought the rights to Tarzan Boy for his theme song, so that's Jungle Boy's new theme song, which I think was pretty cool. Jungle Boy obviously using speed advantage to start. Camarado has the power. Eventually he hits a backflip knees into so he does a backflip, lands on Camarado's back with his knees, and then into the snare trap, pinning for the win. Or no, snare trap submission, I believe, for the win. Nyla Rose versus Alex Gracia. Gracia attempts hot start.
Gracia by Relacion Piano is only available with Amazon
Alexa,
Music
stop.
Unlimited.
Oops. I gotta get this lighting thing fixed. So get a Samoan drop and then a beast bomb for the win. It was pretty much a squash match. Vicky's doing a promo, calls Gracia a piece of gum and steps on her head while Nyla goes for a table, and then she gets powerbombed through a table. What the hell? This is kind of annoying. I'm gonna see if I get rid of the light, will that actually make it better? Let's see if this works. Okay. So anyway, Scorpio Sky versus Ariel Levy. They're still referencing his feud with Spears, but we really haven't heard any word from Sean Spears after he had that promo where that interview where he said he was pretty much done, gave up the glove and all this stuff. So we'll see. We get a rising knee strike and a jumping flatliner by Sky, and then he hits the TKO for the win. Stunt to address about his feud with -1. Apparently they had some feud, and -1 comes out to the ramp with a mic, and then comes into the ring and cuts a promo on Marco Stunt about you only win because you got someone bigger than with you, and he's gonna be when he's old enough, he's gonna be so much taller. And so they just start pushing each other. Cody, Tony Khan, and Matt Jackson all come out to break it up, and then -1 takes everyone out and chases after Stunt. It was hysterical. He knocked out QT Marshall. It was just really funny. We get Ray Phoenix versus Aaron Solo. Ray disrespecting him to start. Solo in control early. We get a rolling soul butt off the ropes. Trouble in Paradise by Solo for a 2 count. We get a roll through cutter by Phoenix for a 2 count, and then a Fire Thunder driver by Phoenix for the win, ahead of his AEW title match with Kenny Omega. Brandon Cutler versus Louis Valley. Valley saying something about having the hottest breath because he's a dragon or something. I don't know. Eventually, Brandon Cutler hits a TPK for the win, continuing his winning streak. Angel Fashion versus Peter Avalon. Avalon has a promo, introduces Angel Fashion as the next member of his Pretty Peter Avalon's Provocation. Avalon misses a moonsault. We get a missile dropkick by Fashion for a 2 count. Fashion gets posted, and then Avalon hits the Martinis for the win, once again leaving his signed 8x10 Johnny Cage style. Kylan King versus Tesha Price. Kylan King and Tesha Price versus Ivelisse and Diamante. So we get a double team on Price, hot tag to King, and then we get an octopus on King by Ivelisse, and then Cuban links on King by Diamante for the win. Gun Club versus Mike Verna and Bear Country. I happen to like Bear Country a lot. This stupid thing with the light. I happen to like Bear Country a lot. And I do see that next week on Dynamite, on Dark, they're gonna have a match against I forget who, but it looks like they will probably get the win there. They're actually really good big men, move really well. Boulder's manhandling Billy. Bronson gets the advantage on Colton with the help of Mike Verna. Colton taking a lot of heat. Hot tag to Austin, cleaning house. Everyone's getting their shot in, their moves in. Eventually, Austin hits the quick draw on Verna for the win. Then we get Vipers versus Shanna. Shanna, welcome back. I actually hear Vipers call her DBZ, which I think is great because Shanna wears those Goku-inspired ring gear. She's such a hard striker, Shanna. Eventually, she hits the fairy tale ending for the win. Quick match there. Matt Sydal versus Baron Black. Matt Sydal obviously will have the match the next day on Dynamite against Cody Rhodes. We get a clutch sweep into the actual Cobra clutch. Black gets to the ropes. Standing Mariposa by Sydal. We get a sunset flip by Sydal into a submission. Black pins to try and gets a pinning attempt to break up the submission. We get an atomic drop, backstabber combo by Black for a 2 count. Then we get a standing Frankensteiner by Sydal, and then he hits the page turner for the win. Thunder Rosa versus Ashley Vox. Thunder Rosa will be facing Britt Baker on New Year's Smash Night 2 to kind of ahead to their big rivalry that they've had. Rosa's in total control early. We get the tarantula in the ropes. Fish hook, ripcord into a suplex by Vox. And then we get an outside in flatliner by Vox. Thunder driver gets countered by Vox. Spinning Ushigoroshi by Rosa for a 2 count. And then eventually she hits the Thunder driver for the win. We next get the Acclaim versus Lee Johnson and Shawn Dean. Lee Johnson and Shawn Dean are pretty much the MVPs of the non-signed workers here in AEW. I mean, these guys have just tagged with everyone, fought everybody. They just get beat to shit. So we got obviously Acclaimed. Max Caster hits a nice freestyle on them. Tope con Hero by Dean on Caster. Dean's taking heat. Hot tag to Lee. Blue Thunder Bomb on Bowens. Caster breaks the count. We get a super kick by Lee. And then a superplex. Then another superplex crossbody combo on Lee. Dean breaks the count. I don't know. I must have messed up my notes here. Obviously, the Acclaim win. This stupid light. Not sure exactly what happened to my notes there. But yes, the Acclaim get the win. Sorry. Fuego del Sol versus Danny Limelight. So this is where I was assuming I was very wrong in my prediction here because this is one of those neither guy has a win. Both have been on Dark a lot. Fuego del Sol I felt was getting a lot more play and notoriety because of his relationship with Sammy Guevara and how he's always on Guevara's vlog. So it's very even to start. Limelight powerbomb into a backstabber for a 2 count. That was pretty cool. Limelight's focusing on the back of Del Sol. We got pop-up Frankensteiner by Fuego. Straight Jacket Hangman Neckbreaker by Fuego for a 2 count. Then we get an Avalanche Fallaway Slam by Limelight for the win. So Limelight's first win here in AEW. And then we get our 4-way match. Kazarian versus Griff Garrison versus Angelico versus Darius Martin of Top Flight in a 4-way match. So we had a triple team on Angelico early. Darius is tripped up by Evans for Angelico to get the advantage. Kaz and Griff are brawling on the outside. Angelico with a double submission on Darius and Griff. Kaz splashes all 3 of them. Kaz with the slingshot cutter on Darius. Griff breaks up the count. We get monkey flip by Kaz, gets blocked. Sunset flip powerbomb by Darius. Griff pulls him off. We get partners are on the outside brawling. Darius takes everybody out. And then we get Kaz with the reverse DDT on Griff for the win. Obviously, it was a good match, though. Pretty cool. I mean, they don't usually do these multi-man matches, which is interesting. Indianapolis up 3-0 in the playoffs if you're a football fan. Okay, so then we get Sammy versus Michael Nakazawa. Nakazawa obviously hiding oil in the turnbuckles. He goes for the nips of Sammy. Sammy corkscrew tope through the ropes hits, which was pretty cool. Oil everywhere. He gets a slipping. Nakazawa gets a slipping senton onto Sammy. Hits his spear for a 2 count. An Olympic slam on Sammy for a 2 count. And then Nakazawa goes for his patented thong. We get a knee strike and a GTH for the win. Sammy hits a promo. back hurts from carrying this show. He says, "Screw 2020. This year is the same. Doesn't need to change. Doesn't need a change in the calendar to work hard." Says he's gonna make an open challenge. Doesn't give a shit. He'll make a prediction or spoiler. He'll be the champ this year. And then we get our main event, 5, Allen Angels versus Serpentico. -1 leads out the Dark Order, and he has -1 written on his chest, which is awesome. He's actually taunting Luther. So then we get a fight to the outside. Luther back body drops him, Serpentico, onto 5. They fight on Avalon's heartbed on the outside. Luther attack on the outside, another one. 5 battles back, hits a standing sliced bread. We get a sit-out powerbomb by 5 for a 2 count. And then we get a super kick, then a low spike DDT by Serpentico for a 2 count. Running step-up knee by 5. Poison Rana by Serpentico, it gets countered. 5 lands on his feet. We get a dive, takes out Luther, and then hits a wing snapper for the win. Then -1 comes back out and starts making fun of Luther, and he has a dot on his head. He says, "You just look stupid." It was hysterical. It was really good. -1, Brodie Lee Jr. I'm very excited to see where he goes. There was actually some cool stuff on social media. He was training with actually Liv Morgan at some point. I guess when they were back with WWE. And then him beating up the Dark Order, all of them with kendo sticks, which even the guy who was holding the camera. It's funny. Also on Tuesday we had Impact Wrestling. Obviously I'm not going to go through that. I don't review that. But what we did have was Kenny Omega was there with the Good Brothers. Obviously, Bullet Club reunion. And then Rich Swann, the Impact champion, and the Motor City Machine Guns, one of my favorite tag teams of all time, decided they wanted to actually confront them. They went out to Kenny's big tour bus. Were actually attacked from behind by Kenny and the Good Brothers, beat them up pretty bad. Going into, I guess, the next pay-per-view for Impact, which is Hard to Kill, will be a 6-man tag between all 6 of those guys. I don't know. I'll probably talk about that match, but that's about it. And then we go into Dynamite. So this is New Year's Smash Night 1. Obviously, everything got pushed up a week for the Brodie Lee tribute special. Jericho will be on commentary. So we get our 8-man tag, the Bucks and SCU versus the Acclaimed and TH2. Casters talking about them being Cena and Jannetty, which I thought was really funny. It was a good one. Breaks down right away. Nick going off on everyone, as he usually does. Bowens blocks an Arabian moonsault by Daniels. Rankings, we were told, have reset with the new year, which happened last year. Daniels taking heat. We get a Desperation Blue Thunder Bomb on Bowens. Hot tag to Kaz. Evan hits Caster by accident. We get a Standing Sky Twister on Kaz by Evans for a 2 count. Matt with the double Northern Lights on Evans and Bowens. Matt's on fire at this point. We get Risky Business on Bowens for a 2 count. Bowens catching a ton of offense. BTE trigger on Bowens. Evans breaks the count. Nick counters the 630 by Evans. We get a super kick party on everyone. Nick fakes a Meltzer driver. And then we get the best moonsault ever. The best Meltzer ever, which is basically the best... the Meltzer driver. But it's Christopher Daniels doing the... best moonsault ever on Evans for the win. Kaz promo says the ending isn't happening on his watch. Obviously reminds everyone of what happened between Christopher Daniels and Kazarian about how the next time they lose, they're done as a tag team. Says that they have the Bucks back, except when the titles are on the line. So clearly what's going to end up happening is maybe at the next pay-per-view or something, the SCU will get themselves into a tag team title match, and that'll be their final match. Mox music hits. Still has the card that he took from Jericho, long-term story booking, and Jericho's not happy about it. Complaining. He comes to the ring, says complaining is a waste of time. You just grit your teeth and bear it. Don't back down an inch. He has zero tolerance for shitty people. Also very funny during this show was that the guy who was supposed to be bleeping out the curses did an absolutely awful job. So Phoenix has a shot, and he's not going to do anything to interfere with it. That guy has been working hard for it, but Kenny is not safe. He's going to be the boogeyman for Kenny. So we get Dasha with Chuck and Cassidy backstage. Trent is out 4 to 5 months with a torn pec. Miro's outfit is amazing. He comes and crashes. Chuck needs to step up and to be a man. Chuck challenges him next week. Miro says, you know what, let's make it even better. If I win, you become my young boy. And if you know New Japan, young boy is basically just like a spider who does all the stuff for them, not any kind of weird, creepy stuff. Until after the wedding, which I believe was going to be in February. And Chuck is like, yeah, sure, whatever, just get out of here, which he's going to have to lose, which is going to be funny. We then get our horse battle that's been kind of in the works for a while. Hager versus Wardlow. Wardlow, promo from earlier today, says he's capable of taking care of both his families since he considers the Inner Circle his family. Inner Circle are on the ramp. We get a horse battle. Brawl on the outside. Hager's in control back from picture-in-picture. Wardlow he's so quick for his size. I really have high hopes for him. Wardlow is hitting toss suplexes on Hager. Goes for a Vader bomb, but it gets countered into an ankle lock, which also gets countered. Hager then sent into the barricade from the apron. We get a release German by Wardlow for a 2 count. We get a Senton Atomico by Wardlow for a 2 count. And then they're up on the top. Hager gets the triangle while they're on the top corner. Wardlow drops down, which then injures Hager. Wardlow hits the F10 for the win, which was obviously Hager was really pissed off, but they show a sign of respect between the two. I like this, because obviously they're heels, but like respect among the heels, which I think is good. We get Private Party backstage. They got the gin, but no juice. Snoop comes in. He was going to be the special guest here. He was supposed to be on commentary, but I guess obviously with everything that happened. So he brings in the juice. Hardy comes in with the contracts. And obviously from BTE saying that he wants, the percentage and to get this in writing. And he said, you know what, you're going to be kings and kings win. Private Party do sign, but they said, they had a list of demands. He said, if that's all in there, he shows them all. He says, you know what, I'm not a monster. All these third-party platforms, you guys can still have those. So kind of another dig at WWE. We get the Cage and Darby weigh in for their TNT title match next week. So Team Taz comes out with Cage. We get the new belt, the TNT title belt. Obviously, we know that the original one was retired, and -1 Brodie Lee Jr. will be the TNT champion for life. So Taz is mad that Cage was going to be weighed first, but he ends up doing it. Cage ends up being over 100 pounds more than Darby. Darby been dealing with shit like this his whole life. He said, we know how these end. Let's just get to the fun part. The lights go out. Sting out from the tunnel. There's another stare down with no action. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's going to happen. Sting really does need to do something at this point. I like the build-up, but eventually, and I like the relationship between the two, but something's got to happen now. He's got to do something, which I assume will be next week. MJF is backstage. Going into by the the garage door or something. Hager's pissed. He's beating up everything. Says you need to be proud of yourself. You're still undefeated in MMA. Most people barely walk out of wrestling rings. And Hager says, you know what? When you first came in, I was gonna beat your ass, but thanks for checking in. I appreciate it. So obviously more camaraderie with the Inner Circle. We get a recap of -1 and Marco Stunt from Dark. Jurassic Express is backstage getting an interview. FTR crashes to shit on them. Stunt says, you know what, I can beat both of you up. I'm going to take the place of Luchasaurus next week, and it's going to be me and Jungle Boy versus the two of you. We then get Cody versus Matt Sydal. So Snoop is out being the Arn Anderson to Cody, even with the Waffle House menu with Jericho even says. So we get Snoop jump to AEW. Jericho says he does a remake of Cody's theme, which I thought was pretty cool. Jericho says that Snoop has Arn's Waffle House menu. I said that. Sydal's in control, pushing the pace early. Sydal hits a Meteora on the ramp. Cody hits Serpentico by accident when they're by the barricade. Cody with the sharpshooter. Sydal gets to the ropes. Cody's in control through picture-in-picture. Cody hits an avalanche reverse suplex. That was pretty crazy. Sydal sidesteps a moonsault. Shooting star. Cody gets the knees up. We get a reverse DDT for a 2 count. Cobra clutch attempt by Sydal. Cody fights out. We get a disaster kick for a 2 count. Sydal Dragon Rana for a 2 count. Almost a miscue there. Page Turner only for a 2 count, but that's what Seidel's been using as his finisher. Obviously, Cody's going to kick out. We had a Crossroads, then goes for a second one for the win. Serpentico and Luther attack, obviously pissed off that Cody hit him by accident. Matt Seidel helps him. They end up getting rid of Luther and then beating up Seidel. Seidel starts to go to the top. Snoop says, waves him off. And then he hits a splash on Serpentico, and then Cody counts the 3. That could have been tragic because it looked like he was slipping. Snoop comes over to commentary, gives Jericho a hug, gives pounds to everybody else. We then get our AEW women's title, Shida versus Abaddon. So they fight on the ramp. Shida with the kendo stick. Abaddon does the sit-up. Abaddon keeps trying to bite Shida again. Shida still has the bite mark on her neck, or bandages there. Abaddon catches a knee lift and then bites the leg. Shida pulled under the ring. Abaddon out with blood in her mouth. We get Shida coming out with another neck bite. We get a second rope X Factor for a 2 count. Abaddon's in control through picture-in-picture. We get a frog splash on the outside by Shida, and then a running knee by Shida for the win. It came abruptly. I'm not sure how I feel about this because I do like that, Abaddon. I do like Abaddon. I do like her gimmick. I just feel like now all of a sudden, okay, now what? She just took the loss, so now what? Like, what's going on here? So we find out next week, they're going down the rundown. So we get TNT title match, Darby versus Cage, Chuck versus Miro with the stipulation if Chuck loses, he'll be the young boy. NWA title, Serena Deeb versus Ty Conti. The Elite will be in action. Jurassic Express versus FTR. As we know that Marco Stunt will be in place of Luchasaurus. Pac versus Eddie. And then the Inner Circle New Year's resolutions. And then the waiting room will be coming from Dark to Dynamite, and Cody will be the guest. We get Conti backstage promo with the Dark Order in her corner now against Serena Deeb, so I guess she is part of the Dark Order. And we get our main event, AEW title on the line, Kenny Omega, Rey Fenix. Death Triangle promo earlier on. Phoenix will be on his own tonight, says Pac. Another great intro by Roberts for Kenny. Kenny hits a spike Rana. Step Up Rana by Phoenix counters Rise of the Terminator. Excalibur mentions Ibushi's win from Wrestle Kingdom, so that was interesting. Snapdragon on the floor by Kenny, that looked rough. Phoenix dropped on the apron and the barricade. We get a Guitar Crusher back in the ring for a 2 count. Tope Con Hero through the ropes by Phoenix, and he almost clears the fucking barricade. It was crazy. Backflip into a German release by Phoenix for a 2 count. This was like my holy shit moment. Like, he literally does a backflip right over Kenny, catches Kenny in the in the German position, and then German releases him. That was just insane. V-trigger super kick into a V-trigger super kick counter. That was a pop moment. Like, everyone was just like, oh shit. Phoenix's chest looks like hamburger meat at this point. We get running V-trigger after a powerbomb for a 2 count. Another running V-trigger. One wing gets countered into a poison Rana. Callus distraction catches another. Callus with the distraction allows Kenny to hit another V-trigger. Outside in cutter by Phoenix for a 2 count. Fire Thunder Driver by Phoenix for a 2 count. We get a Frog Splash countered. Kenny catches into a Tiger Driver. So Phoenix jumps like almost like he's doing like some kind of senton, and Kenny catches him into the Tiger Driver position, hits the Tiger Driver, then a V-trigger for a 2 count. Eventually, Kenny hits the One Wing Angel for the win. This was insane. Insane match. Awesome. Callis does a promo saying that he's going to end the end of Phoenix. They go to the monitor. Eddie and Butcher and the Blade are taking out Pentagon and Pac, so they're not there to help him. So he says that he's going to end Phoenix's career. Mox comes out with a barbed wire bat. Then the Good Brothers come out of nowhere for the attack with the tag titles on Impact tag titles on them. They hit a Magic Killer on Mox. Kenny with the bat to Moxley. All of a sudden, a lot of the guys from Dark, Pillman and Griff come out, and then the rest of them, I didn't get all their names, but the guys that you're familiar with from Dark and BTE, they were trying to get in. Kenny's beating them up. The Good Brothers are beating them up. Fuego comes in, is one of them. He gets powerbombed through a table on the outside. The Bucks finally come out, and then Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman grab Kenny against the ropes, and Matt actually super kicks Griff Garrison. Apparently, Nick didn't do it because he was having a leg injury. At first, he thought it was a broken leg, but apparently it's just some kind of contusion, so he should be fine. He might be out for a little bit, but not any real extended amount of time. Matt's kind of like, what's going on? What are you guys doing? Why are you doing this? And then Kenny puts up the 2 Sweet sign. The Good Brothers, join in, and then eventually the Bucks reluctantly can tell, that this is going to go somewhere. They also do the 2 Sweet, and that's a pretty cool image to end off Dynamite and end the week. So there you have it. That's Dynamite. As always, I like to give my match of the week. Obviously, it's going to be the AEW title match between Kenny and Phoenix. That was a 5-star classic. I mean, just Phoenix is just awesome. Obviously, they've had plenty of great matchups, especially in Mexico for AAA, because Kenny's still the reigning AAA Mega Champ. Phoenix, he won it off Phoenix. This match has had everything. Great moves, innovative stuff. Shows how great Phoenix is and will be in the future. He is a future champion in this company, 100%. No doubt about it. And then obviously the ending with everything that happened with the Bucks and the Bullet Club reunion, the Good Brothers, the Impact guys coming in this time as opposed to just Kenny always going there. So very interesting. Also, Tony Khan had another hysterical paid promotional commercial, whatever, on Impact, which I thought was great. So that's it. There you have it. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. And as always, be safe, love each other, and bye now.